Hello and welcome to Talkin Baseball. Happy New Year. We got some predictions for every team and a couple signings. Charlie Morton's not a Brave. He's Song Kim. Let's talk ball.
Charlie Morton curveball.
Hey Song Kim.
Probably throws a sweeper now too.
Through the hole. Hello and welcome to Talkin Baseball, presented to you by SeatGeek. My name, Jake Storielli, at Talkin Jake on X. That is Trevor Plouffe, Rob Scirocco producing. Happy New Year. If you've just been, a lot of people were saving the New Year till today, basically. They were like that Thursday, Friday in January. I'm not locking in yet. It's time to lock in, Pop. We are here. We've got less than 3 months till there's real baseball games that count. I mean, we're going to start getting close to next week is probably a month till pitchers and catchers. Holy smokes, Trev. There's still some big free agents out there. Some teams are set. Are you set? How are you, Coach?
Well, it's good to see you. I miss yucking ball with you, 3 times a week. This has been a long layoff, and I have been getting, I don't know if you want to call them the scaries or whatever they are, but we've had so much time off now that, I started to think about TPPs and then straight into the season, and that's a grind. What we do is a grind. It's fun, but I started to think about getting back into it, and I kind of got excited, to be honest with you. Like, I'm a dog. I'm a podcast rat. Used to be a baseball rat. Now I'm a podcast rat. So I don't know, man. We have a fun episode today, I think. Because it's still, there's still optimism.
Yes.
Right? From most teams. There are some teams that are like, I'm out on 2025. But for the most part, there's optimism. And, I love to be positive. So I'm excited to talk about some of these teams, Jakey boy.
You are a positive cat. I like that about you. There's, again, there's no need for shots fired at the Rockies this early. But, and this was, we looked into, there was an MLB.com article that I believe they either reached out to all their beat writers or it's an AI article, which we can't talk about that right now because I know I'll lose you for the next 45 minutes. But they did one prediction for every baseball team, and the Rockies one is youth takes over, which it's like, hey, I love my Rocks.
You know what?
We're not going
to. Did I ask AI how the Rockies season is going to go right now?
You can do that because I know it'll make you entertained. And, they're talking about Rockies number 14 prospect Carson Palmquist and how he's going to be looking this year. We're going to not start there. You guys are welcome for that. But we wanted to, because it's tough to hit all 30 teams. We want to see which ones we could combine. And there's some fun ones out there. And it's stuff, Trev, you talk about your positive mindset. It's the stuff that we haven't daydreamed yet. What's Jacob deGrom's 2025 going to look like?
I've daydreamed that a little bit.
Do you know how many games Mike Trout played last year?
36.
29 games. That's all we got from the guy that we argued was the greatest baseball player before he had a teammate come over and do everything better than him.
Do you want to hear what AI has to say about the Rockies?
Let's hear it.
The Colorado Rockies' performance in the 2025 season is anticipated to be at the lower end of the spectrum based on current analysis and projection. Agree.
Hard agree. Get ready for the TPP. Let's get into it, and it's all brought to you by SeatGeek. It's a new year, and to celebrate another year of our amazing partnership with SeatGeek, we have a new code for you guys. Oh, and Trev, you're going to like this one and laugh in a second. Code Talkin 2025, baby, for 10% off your tickets on SeatGeek. Trev used this the other day. I'm sure he's going to end my little spiel talking about that. 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek. Concerts, sports, festivals, and more. Football playoffs are coming up. Baseball's coming around the corner. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10. So you know if you're getting a good deal. Just look at the dots. Green, good. Red, bad. And we came through for you guys. You can use code TALKIN2025 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with promo code TALKIN2025. Tell them, Trev.
What? I just used it.
You just used it.
Okay, that's where you were going. Yeah, I'm going to the Rams playoff game Monday night against the Vikes. So me and Minnesota will be quarreling that night.
Oh,
A brothers fight, if you will,
wow.
family feud. But yeah,
Yeah.
I used it, got my discount, got my ticks. It was easy. It really is easy.
The Plouffe Bowl. I didn't even put that
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
God.
Sam Darnold was like, I predicted he was going to be a great quarterback coming out of SC. Took a
Yeah.
while. He's
Yeah.
back.
Glad you predicted that.
Yeah.
I think I have a Sam Darnold comp coming up for my sporty guys and gals out there. But let's talk some ball, because
Let's talk ball.
that's where we get our bread buttered. And Trev, I was debating, do we want to go division by division and go, okay,
Where are we dropping, Pop? Where are we dropping?
Bichette or Orioles to make the postseason. I wanted to combine some to kind of make pairings here. We've done sister cities on this show before. That's normally an end of season entertainment. But, you know, again, some of these were aimed wide as an MLB.com article. Maybe we can link it in there if you guys want to click around. There was two teams that we've spoken a lot about. And one of these teams was in the news because of the Charlie Morton signing, so we can hit upon that here as well. But they had the Orioles to end their postseason winless drought, which goes back to 2014, Trev. That's over a decade without a dub of playoff baseball. And on the other side, the National League, the Chicago Cubs win their first playoff game since 2017. So the Orioles have made the dance the past couple years, and they haven't gotten the dub. The Cubs have missed the postseason for a couple years now. And I don't know. I just thought it was funny. These are two teams that have gotten us hot in offseason episodes. The Cubs have put in the chips a little more than we expected. They did do the Kyle Tucker trade, so when you look at the Cubbies, maybe there's more reason to have juice there. The Orioles, it's a continuation of an interesting offseason where it's, you know, we wanted Burns or Fried, or we wanted, you know, one of these major pieces, and so far we now have Charlie Morton, your guy Sugano coming over from overseas, and Tyler O'Neill. That, again, I don't think it's the offseason Orioles fans expected, but it's maybe more parts than they expected. So I guess why don't you start on the Orioles side of it, and then we'll kind of see if we like the Orioles or Cubbies more right now.
So the Orioles, to me, they've done a decent job filling the holes that, you know, big shoes left, right? Corbin
Yes.
Burns, Anthony Santander. I like the Tyler O'Neill signing. I really do. I don't know if he's going to replicate exactly what Santander did, but I think that he's at least can be comparable. Replacing Corbin Burns, very hard to do. But you get Sugano, you get Morton to come over, which I always talk about. Hey, bring these veteran guys in to help mold your young hitters. It's the same thing with pitchers. Like Charlie Morton's going to bring a wealth of knowledge over to the pitching room. They're going to talk. He's going to help Grayson Rodriguez. So the Orioles, to me, are a little bit different than the Cubs, because I really feel like their main focus, or what they expect, where their improvement can come from, is just like their young guys, the guys that have been there. Like Jackson Holiday needs to be a guy. I posed that question to Chris Rose. I was like, is that enough if he just is like the man, like who he's supposed to be? Is that enough to propel them, you know, to challenge the Yankees for the AL East title, to win this first playoff game? Is it Adley Rutschman coming back and kind of being the player that he's been? Is that enough? Some of these other guys like Kobe Mayo, like if they just take the next step, does that mean that the Orioles again like can make a run at the AL East, can win a playoff game? Like maybe, like they have a deep roster of I'm not gonna they're not sure things, but they can be sure things. I don't know if that makes sense, or if
Okay.
I'm just kind of talking. You know, like there's talent there. Now you have to go do it at the major league level. You have to prove that you can do it for a full 162 and into the playoffs and all that stuff. The roster is good. So for me, the Orioles, they have a chance at this, but I think really they're just relying on the next man up mentality, basically. Like, look, you got a taste of the big leagues. It's for Jackson Holiday didn't really go your way, but the pressure should be less coming into your second year. You understand what it takes, the mental aspect. You have a little bit more clarity there. And then, yeah, Adley, whatever was going on with him, fix that. So I think the Orioles have done a better job filling the holes than people are going to give them credit for.
I'm just interested to see on their end because a lot of times I break things down into like options to click in situations like this. Like they signed Charlie Morton and Sagano, and it's like, okay, is one of those guys probably going to have a pretty good 2025? Yeah, I think so. And I wonder if they have something analytically driven that's like, hey, we see these teams every year now. Like the Texas Rangers, when they won, they had a whole a litany of injured pitchers. The Dodgers, they had a litany. Stop saying litany, dude. They had a big group of injured pitchers when they won the World Series. That maybe the Orioles, in however they're judging thing, is like, hey, the depth is going to be more important, so we don't come down the stretch with one starting pitcher where, okay, if we signed a Fried or a Burns and then they get banged up going into the postseason or at the All-Star break or whenever it is, that you have more options. And that's kind of what you were saying. Like, I don't know if Tyler O'Neill is going to replicate last year or if Jackson Holiday will take a leap, but it feels like if you gave me the bet where one of them would, I'd be like, yeah, absolutely. So it feels like they've taken that approach with their offseason. And the truth with all these teams that we end up laughing about is it is where a lot of times it comes back to the youth. Is Adley going to get back to form? Is Jordan Westburg a dude? There was times when he was last year. Jackson Holiday. Is Grayson Rodriguez going to take a leap? Like they traded for Trevor Rogers. That's another sneaky option for them that it's like, hey, if they found something with him and he's healthy for next year, that's a guy that's thrown good big league innings. So it's going to be weird to see Charlie Morton in Baltimore. He's
why?
He's just been a brave. He's been a brave man for a little while now.
You call him Big Bird?
You do or I do?
We could.
I want to do that.
Speaking of Big Bird, Felix Bautista.
I think that's huge.
Back. You know what I mean? Like, so huge. They have the pieces there. They are relying, Grayson Rodriguez is another guy, in the same ilk of Jackson Holiday. Obviously, he's had more success than Jackson Holiday at the big level, but like, can he take that next step and be the guy? If you pair Jackson Holiday, an improved guy who they think he's going to be, with Gunnar Henderson up the middle, and again, Grayson takes that next step. Charlie Morton whispers in his ear, hey, like, do this. And all of a sudden, he's a guy. Like, that stuff happens. That's not like far-fetched. I think we've been harsh on the Orioles, but the more and more I think about how their season can go, like the potential, it's there.
Well, it's an exercise we're probably going to do later this offseason, but, the Orioles have spent $86 million, which ain't nothing, but it's, 3 one-year guys in Morton, Sagano, Sanchez, Elgary, and then that Tyler O'Neill 3-year, $49.5 million deal. So it's just going to be an interesting juxtaposition between, okay, if you were willing to spend this much money, could it have been one or two more impactful pieces, or maybe not, or maybe Tyler O'Neill is that guy. So I guess, and by the way, we've got another Charlie Morton wanting to sign with a team that played near his Bradenton, Florida home, so the Orioles complex in Sarasota. So I don't know, guys just love being home now, Trev.
I just love being home.
Crazy. So I guess if you had to win one postseason game in 2025, if you had to say Orioles or Cubs, where do you lean?
It means that both teams have to get to the postseason.
Bingo.
I don't think that's thank you. I don't think that's a foregone conclusion necessarily. If I was a betting man, I would say, do both teams make the playoffs? Oh man. For some reason, I want to say the Cubs are going to have more competition just because the NL wild card is going to be better.
Okay.
I don't think we're going to see 3 AL Central teams, in the playoffs again this year, but who knows?
Right.
Roster to roster, I would take the Cubs right now to win a playoff.
Really? Okay.
I would, yeah. I just think that there's more like been there, done that type of. There are more been there, done that type of roster, and you're talking. Who's the one in Baltimore right now? Would you say it's Grayson? Would you say it's Eflin? Would you say it's not Morton?
If I was an Orioles fan, I think I'd want it to be Grayson Rodriguez. Like, he's got the potential to find a little more. Like, I think that's what I'd want.
So he's going up against Shota or Justin Steele,
Right.
and I think the Cubs have the advantage there. I like again, I just think there's a little bit more been there, done that in the Cubs lineup. So I would take the Cubs. Plus, had to bet to win one playoff game this year, I'd probably go with the Cubbies.
Yeah, it's a good kind of
that lineup the lineup has always looked good. The roster for the Cubs has looked good. It just hasn't like gelled yet. Like they need a little WD-40 on the squad to get it rolling, Jake.
Yeah, it's interesting. The Cubs' depth confuses me a little bit right now. Like right now, their bench is currently listed as Carson Kelly, which we like. Gage Workman, who I'll be honest with you, people, I'm not super familiar with the 2020 draftee infielder, but
you got Rule 5 from Detroit,
maybe,
obviously.
Yeah, we know. They traded for Vidal Brujan, so okay, they liked what they
Kevin
saw
Cash
there.
used to love this guy, so what does that mean? I don't know.
I don't know. I like the Orioles' depth a little more, and I mean, they've gone dancing. They just have had a couple tough playoff games where they haven't been able to get the big swing or the big run, and the Orioles, those Oriole lenses, they finished 4th in OPS runs, and they were 5th in starting pitching ERA. Like, they won 91 games. I know they've lost a lot, and I've been tough on them. I guess compared to the Cubbies, I would lean Birds. But I think it's a fun convo. All right, Coach, let's jump to another fun one here. Because I was perusing the AL West. Some say it's your favorite division. And they had 2 pitchers for the Cy Young coming from very different angles. They said they predict for the Texas Rangers, Jacob deGrom to bounce back and be in Cy Young. Well, actually, this is funny on 3 notes because they opened it up to the whole Mariners rotation. They were like, okay, will a Mariners starting pitcher win the Cy Young? For the Texas Rangers, they said Jacob deGrom to potentially win what would be his 3rd Cy Young, although he hasn't eclipsed 100 innings since 2019. And then from your Houston Astros, they threw out Hunter Brown to go and compete for the Cy Young, which I wasn't as familiar with his game last year because he got out to such a tough start. 0-4, a 9.78 ERA in his first 6 starts, but he bounced back in his final 147 innings, a 2.51 ERA. So this is a little AL West pitchers hodgepodge that I don't know if you actually had to invest and get on the DraftKings app. Like, where do your eyes look?
I love Jacob deGrom, and I know what he's done, and I've watched him and seen him, and it's fantastic. And I hope that he has an incredible bounce back year. I just don't think he's going to pitch enough to be truly in the AL Cy Young consideration. And that's not doesn't mean he's going to be hurt again this year. I'm really, really praying that he gets to pitch a full year. I just think the Rangers will be pretty careful with how they use him to start out the year, and then maybe we'll see a full go Jacob deGrom, come postseason run time. I think that's best case scenario if you're a Rangers fan. Like, okay, let's ease the guy into it, get him going, and then come August, September, like let's see is he truly healthy? Can we get that guy back? Like, that would be, I think, in my mind, best case scenario. I mean, look, there's nothing we need to say or tell you about Jacob deGrom. He is absolutely filthy when he's on. There's no doubt about it. Some would say he's the best pitcher in baseball when he's on. So do I get to include the Mariners in this conversation, or is this?
I mean, they're always involved a little bit, Why
I think
not?
I would take one of those guys to win the Cy Young over both Jacob deGrom. I get 5 options, maybe 6 options. As a betting man, that makes sense to me. Hunter Brown, look, you're right. I was going to say, was it 5 games, 5 bad games at the beginning of the year, but it ended up being 6. He added a sinker, and that kind of just opened things up for him. And he was fantastic at the end of the year. If we didn't include the Mariners, I would say, yes, I'm going to go Hunter Brown over Jacob deGrom for Cy Young vote, just because I think he's going to pitch more.
Right.
And I don't know, man. He's like young and hungry and got a taste of real success last year. And I think that, what's the saying, Jake? Success begets success. Is that even? Did I make that up?
Was there a baguette in there?
I think
Success
that's a
baguette
saying,
success.
Dude.
No way.
I think I read it in some Tolkien novel. So I would, if you're giving me those three choices, I would say, look, we got a bunch of dogs up there in Seattle. I'll take that as a betting man. But between Hunter Brown and Jake deGrom, I would say Hunter Brown, just because I think he's gonna pitch more.
So that is a saying. Success begets success, aka success can lead to more success.
I mean, I'm on today.
That's Trev. That's some Stanford stuff.
I'm 5 days no drinks.
Wow.
Sober.
Same.
Yeah. Clarity is here.
I'm going dry January. We'll see.
Are you? Cool.
I'm supposed to go to a baby shower like January 19th.
What does that mean?
Nothing. That means nothing. I think
where do you land?
Your logic is right. Like Hunter Brown going into his age 26 season, he got better from 24 to 25, age-wise and year-wise. I think it's the safer bet. I mean, what I could throw at you is like, would we have said the same thing about Chris Sale last year? So it's knowing that deGrom, when deGrom's on the mound, you know it's coming. Like it's not like he's on the mound throwing 89 now. It's like, no, he's still coming at you with arguably the best stuff in baseball. I like what you said, though. If you're the Texas Rangers, you don't even step on the throttle with him. And, if he has one even question mark, like you play it as safe as possible where, I wouldn't be surprised if Hunter Brown's goal next year is to throw 200 innings and be one of those guys, which that's one of the new rare air things in baseball. If I made it a 2-pack and it was Hunter Brown and deGrom versus pick 2 Mariners, I think I'd go deGrom and Brown just for the sex appeal of it.
Okay.
Those Mariners guys, they're just they're so good. I can't Mariners right now. I don't know.
So deGrom, he ended up pitching 3 games last year, 10 2/3. You know what I like? Pitchers that don't walk people. 14 Ks in those 10 2/3, only 1 walk. Jake. That's hot.
Hot. I think.
I don't know. I mean, dude, I guess I haven't erased Jacob deGrom from my mind.
Okay.
But I haven't seen him pitch a full season since when?
Right.
But that's where I'm at with that. I hope for the best for him. Dude, if he wins a Cy Young this year, how freaking cool would that be? That guy, people don't realize how hard rehabilitation is.
Right.
Lonely, it sucks. You want to be helping your team. Is this guy making a ton of money? Yes. Does that make it easier? Yes. But he's not being able to use his talents like he wants to. It's very depressing. It really, really is. I've talked about that many times. So I'm rooting for him just for that sake. Like, get your mentals better, man. So what's my answer? Mariners. Mariners is my answer.
Somehow it's always the Mariners.
It's always the Mariners.
Or maybe the answer is Hims. Today's episode is sponsored by Hims. Life is stressful. You got plenty to worry about without adding performance in the bedroom to the list. Hims provides access to treatments that can help you stay hard and last longer. Giving you that boost of confidence so you can be ready whenever the mood strikes. Hims is changing men's healthcare by providing you with access to affordable sexual health treatments from the comfort of your own couch. The process is 100% online, so there's no need for uncomfortable doctor's visits. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/talkin. That's hims.com/talkin for your personalized ED treatment options. The products mentioned are chewable compounded products which are not approved by or verified for safety or effectiveness by the FDA. Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider. Will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Prices vary based on product and subscription plan. All right, Trev, it's time to press everyone's favorite button. It's the Dodgers button. And they are going to be obviously one of the most talked about teams, the defending champions, who continue to add, including Hae-Sung Kim. We believe we're saying that right. I did listen to some pronunciations this morning. One of the more intriguing international prospects, super utility guy, supposed to have the contact tool. People are worried about the pop. He crushed it over in the KBO the past few years. And yeah, there was a few teams on him, but the Dodgers said, no, we want that. There's a funny Dave Roberts quote after playing them last year that they were like, yeah, we like that second baseman. And now look, he's on the team. So, Trev, I want to get your thoughts on that, but they also, and, again, maybe it's some article, I don't want to say clickbait or more so fodder, but the Dodgers challenging the all-time wins record in the regular season of 116. Shohei's coming back. They added Snell. They just keep adding, Trev.
The roster, I could get Chris Rose on you, and I'm going to ask you this question. I'm going to do it right now. Anyway,
okay.
I have two things I want to say. First, let me get this off my chest. Do you think, a lot of American players go over to Korea and play? Do you think the Korean baseball today is like this? Mark Rachipsky, how do you say that?
Come on.
I bet they do. I think it's just funny. We do it. I'm sure they do it. I don't know.
That
crossed my mind.
Yes.
I was trying to think of like weird American names that would just be like, what the hell?
Right.
There's a lot of them. Like Blake Trinan is like, what?
Right.
That's a weird one.
That's a great.
Anyways.
Thank you for defending us.
Yeah, I think that's what I was doing.
Thank you, Trev. Thank you. Finally.
We're just trying to get it right.
Yes.
Second, Chris Rose. I was going to ask this question. I'll get to yours. Like, when's the last time a better roster was constructed?
Ooh.
Like, is it the 2000 Yankees?
Ooh. That is some Chris Rose.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that's a valid thought process. Like, when's the last time there was a better roster constructed than what the Dodgers have right now? Because go look at it. You mentioned Ha-Sung Kim's coming over. Teams were looking at him to be a starter on their team. The Dodgers are like, hey, we found a new Gerard Dyson.
Right.
Like, he's going to come off the bench and he's gonna be sprinkled around the field and he can run the bases and all these things. Like, their depth and everything is so damn good, Jake.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, like, when is the last time there was a better roster constructed? I know it's on paper. I know they got to play the games. Hey, newsflash, they just won the World Series and got better, I think. What say you?
Might have the best player ever on the roster, so that's...
What say you, Jacob?
I don't like the way you're talking this new year. Success begets success, Harry Potter. Man, you probably have a pretty good argument, man, because a lot of the salary cap and different rules that we've added that owners have obliged by the past 10, 20 years
owners
or whatever it is.
Imposed on themselves, what you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
Like coming off the World Series, having one of the best players ever, having inner circle Hall of Famers, having depth and they're currently adding that. You're right. I guess I would have to. The interesting thing in my head right now is trying to think of teams like post-trade deadline. Because I'm even thinking going back to Dodgers teams that didn't win. Like Manny Machado was a Dodger for a little bit. So that would be...
They're not better than this team. They're not better than
I
this
think
team.
You're right, but I think...
I think it's like that team with Posada, Cano, Teixeira, Jeter, A-Rod.
09 Yanks.
Like 09 Yanks.
Yeah, I mean, there's...
That's... Okay, why did I say 2000 then?
I mean, it was around then, but yeah, it gets really tricky because, dude, everything's still on paper, man. Like it's the beauty of the offseason.
They just won a World Series, though.
I know, but everything's still on paper. That even, God, like I thought that Braves team was really nasty when they won the World Series and Acuna came back. So. There's definitely an argument. I'd have to actually get in the weeds, and I think the easy answer is yes, and that's probably why I'm being so long-winded. Because, dude, like, Snell is just okay. Like, what? Like, go look at his numbers after the All-Star break. If the light bulb's on for Dustin May, then yes. Like, stop. We don't need to play a lot of the season.
Pitching depth is insane. We're obviously we're all LA fans here. That's what everyone always says in the comments. This show's only about the Dodgers. It's like, hey guys, they're the best team in baseball. We kind of have to talk about them. kind of have to. They have, I mean, Shohei's on their freaking team. I mean, I know I don't want to. We want to spread the love around, but sometimes you got to give a little bit more, to the big dogs.
How about this? I would love if the Dodgers made this a team goal. I don't think they will. I don't think they care because we're all about World Series. But the conversation with regular season in sports right now, and I think it's part of the reason the NBA has gone down the past couple years because their regular season is a disaster. Everyone gets in the playoffs. You don't know if the stars are playing.
They had to create a gimmick.
They had to create rules to make their players play, which is pretty wild.
Oh, and a tournament in season. It's like, hey, we have the playoffs in season.
Check this out. I kind of like it. Okay. NFL's coming off a weird week where half the games didn't matter. Like, dude, if the Dodgers were chasing 116, that'd be sick for the sport, man, because we're trying to make regular season games matter more. I don't think any team puts this on the wall and cares.
1-6, so they won 117 games. They won 98 last year. I felt like they were just on cruise control the entire freaking year.
It felt like they didn't have starting pitchers.
The Padres came and challenged them towards the end. Padres are a very good team.
It felt like the Dodgers didn't have starting pitchers for most of the season.
Yes. And when they had to nut up, use my language.
Thank you.
They did.
Yes. Big time.
So what are you, 116, 117 games.
I would say no. I don't think they care. I would love if they did. And dude, if it comes out in spring training that, every now and then we get a leak of a secret Shohei goal. He's like, I want to win the WBC. I want to win the World. If he just starts aiming at records to break, I'm all in. All in.
So that's where I'll come in. I think Shohei's offensive numbers will probably go down. I think.
Don't bet on it, but your logic's right.
You got to focus on some pitching. I know he was still rehabbing, still throwing and stuff, but the actual game day that he's going to have to go through, I think the stolen bases will not be there, people. Hey, 50 stolen bags, whatever it was, ended up being 54. That was awesome to see. You're not going to see that again. I don't think you should. Like if the Dodgers are smart, they're saying like, hey, Shohei, you got the 50-50, bro. Like pump the brakes a little bit. So 116 to me seems crazy. I just never seen a team even come close to it. What's the most games I think I've seen a team win was what? The Dodgers won 101 and the Braves did that too, like not too long ago. Like that's the most I think I've seen.
No, I guess the counter would be, dude, the San Francisco Giants that one year won 107, I think.
No.
Yes,
and they beat the Dodgers that won 106.
Yes,
that's right.
Dude. That was wild. So
I'm fact checking that because gosh, did they really? That wasn't that long ago.
That season, there was a lot that didn't make sense.
No, 2021.
21.
I'm getting there. 107. Holy shnikes. You're right. Gabe Kapler was just working that magic.
I do. God.
I vote no.
Imagine
for 116.
Imagine the world where everything clicks and you're playing the Dodgers and Snell is Cy Young Snell. Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Dude.
Tyler Glasnow is everyone's. If he does it for a full year, he'll win one. Shohei, who that's probably next on his list of things to do. They just
look at their 5-starter. Pick.
They
just pick one.
They just might. And yeah, I mean, Hae-Sung Kim, if he signed with another team, I'd be like, oh, I don't know. I'm kind of worried about the power, and there's not a lot of good, just pure contact hitters in baseball. He's with the right squad.
He's not gonna hit for any power.
There's no need.
He doesn't need to. I said he is their Gerard Dyson.
Yeah, I have a
little bit more super util.
I have a brewing theory that it's near impossible to be a truly contact hitter in today's MLB. Like even Arise is kind of taking a step back. Like I don't know.
Spray charts. That's why.
Spray charts. But I saw him turn on some balls too. He can do it.
Can I just give Gerard Dyson a little bit of love? I feel I'm not mocking him, people. No. I'm not saying that in a bad way. Go remember what Gerard Dyson did for the Kansas City Royals back in the day. turn singles or walks into triples. What he did.
Was
he had vroom shaved into the side of his head, bro.
You got to be fast to do that.
You have to be.
You have to be fast or very slow.
Not even fast. You have to swipe bags. You can't be just fast and get thrown out all the freaking time, dude. Who's the other guy? Terrence Gore. Like,
yeah. I mean, Terrence.
How many World Series does Terrence Gore have?
I don't know. Does he have 2?
I don't even know.
Mackenzie Gore, Terrence Gore, 2-time World Series.
Yeah. There was a time where he was just, I think he has more playoff appearances than regular season appearances, which is pretty hilarious.
God, what is his life?
He would just sit in AAA the entire year, and they're like, okay, let's bring him up.
2015 Royals and then 2021 Braves. Golly. Ow.
He has 3?
Interesting. He was on that team 2 regular season games, no postseason. So he's probably got the bling. I don't know.
Oh yeah, you got the ring.
He's got it. It's there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Baseball Reference doesn't give it to him. We'll have to talk about that. I remember I mentioned there was a Sam Darnold comp from before. This is from earlier in the show. Charlie Morton, man. Dude, Charlie Morton, his first from ages 24 to 31, he had a negative WAR.
Yeah.
And then he left Pittsburgh. His rookie year was with Atlanta too. But I don't know, man. We've kind of seen this around baseball. Some of these players that have
pitchers leaving Pittsburgh and becoming absolutely dominant. Yeah.
I wasn't going to single out Pittsburgh. I was going to say players.
What does that mean for Paul Skeens? If Paul Skeens leaves Pittsburgh, what's he going to do?
I think
he'll never allow a run again.
Oh my God, he's already a Dodger. People used to say that about the Yankees. Not anymore. Maybe one day. Let me tell you guys about DraftKings. It is DraftKings season big time. I was swimming in the app this weekend, and playoff football is en route with the DraftKings Sportsbook. Right now, they're offering all new customers $200 in bonus bets instantly after betting just $5 when you use code TALKIN. Love the thrill of live betting? DraftKings has got you covered. Bet live on in-progress games as they happen, making watching the game that much more juicy. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code TALKIN. Bet just $5 on any wager. Get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's code TALKIN only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. I did miss a player over under by a half yard yesterday. It stung. Might be a tailback in Seattle that, I don't know. I really like him, and I just feel like if they gave him the ball more, they'd win more. Anyway,
does his last name sound like a white wine?
Cabernet. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It's crazy. Over under was 60. He got 59 yards. Wild.
I guess it sounds like a white wine and a red wine, doesn't it?
A little bit. Whoa.
Whoa.
Talk to our branding team.
Rosé.
Trev, speaking of, I've got one Chris Rosé question for you, and then we can hop around the board a little bit more. You like that? You can use that on Baseball Today.
Use that on, yeah.
Is Baseball Today the hottest show on the internet? You guys
Yes.
are. Holy cow.
Chris Rosé is so
Trev, the one that keeps getting me, and I teased it earlier, Mike Trout, who it feels like, God, I know we did this at Fanatics Fest. He was the guy. He was baseball. He's our best player for a decade. So few games last year, so few games the last couple years. This goes back to the Cy Young thing. I guess it would be an MVP thing. And I'm going so far on different ends of the spectrum. Mike Trout, the bounce back year. He puts it all together. He's pissed at Shohei. Here comes his 50-50. Probably not the speed. Mike Trout or Elly De La Cruz from your Cincinnati Reds putting it all together and finding an MVP season?
Okay. I feel like this is setting me up to hate on somebody, and I don't like that, dude.
No, it's not. You can
I
love
don't like
both.
that. Elly is a hell of a baseball player. a hell of a baseball player. Love watching him. He is electric. I think he has the potential to. I think he has the potential to be an MVP. I guess I could say that. I don't think that's like super far fetched. Okay. Was he MVP votes last year?
Let's see. Elly De La Cruz, he landed 8th in the MVP last year.
I knew he got some votes last year. So it's not far fetched to see him just explode. Third season, he's probably got around.
He's turning 23.
Probably got around 1,000 at bats by now in the big leagues. You start to maybe a little less than that.
Wow.
What is it?
1,006 at bats.
Okay. So now you're starting to understand what it means to be a big leaguer. Now you've seen everything. There's nothing that a pitcher can throw you anymore that you haven't seen. Once you get those at bats in, it's just like, okay, now can I stay healthy? What are my adjustments like? What's my routine like? That's when you see guys start to take off. When you have the confidence to say, what can you throw me? I've literally, this is the big leagues. There's no better league. I've seen all the pitches. That's when you start to get up there and you start to say, this is my plate. So Elly, you got me thinking a little bit more about this. I'm more on the side of Mike Trout being, how many times have we seen Mike Trout not only win the MVP, which is 3 times, but also finish, runner up, and gosh, actually you got me thinking about this now.
You kind of set me spinning.
At first I was saying Mike Trout for sure because he's just done it so many times, and I think he still has plenty in the tank. At the beginning of last year, before he got hurt, Jake, he was absolutely going off. So, this is a little tougher than I thought.
Trev, I was Trout, and you've convinced me on Elly.
I think so. I think I just convinced myself too to say Elly.
Dude, he's turning 23. So, okay. He just had a 5-WAR season last year. He led the league in stolen bases. And, everything kind of took a natural jump last year. The batting average, the on-base percentage, the slugging, OPS obviously combines those. He played 160 games. So, Elly De La Cruz, man, do I see him taking another step to becoming a 7-8 WAR player? Or do I believe in Mike Trout to be healthy? And I'll just be honest, I don't. I feel like we've got to get a couple good more Trout seasons, even 145 games. But, man, it's been a minute, and I don't know. There's also just okay, if Elly De La Cruz has an 8 season and leads the Reds to the playoffs versus, okay, Mike Trout has a 9-WAR season and the Angels finish 78, and I don't know.
I don't think either of these guys wins the MVP, and that's okay because we have monsters right now. Shohei's going to be the MVP frontrunner in the NL for the next 6 years.
Yeah.
Maybe even longer than that. Aaron Judge is going to be doing Aaron Judge things in New York for a long time. So, obviously you put those 2 guys at the forefront. I guess now the question should really be who's going to finish higher in the MVP in 2025. And I'm kind of more deep diving into Elly, and I think I'm going to say Elly is my answer, which is pretty crazy because we know who Mike Trout is, and hopefully he is healthy and he can do that. But all the underlying metrics, like you said, just crazy jumped for him. He's stealing bags. He's playing elite defense. And now we're getting to the point where he's just being more confident at the plate. The only thing that needs to come up for him is his strikeouts, his chase and his whiff, which that's what happens as you age. It gets better. You see the ball better. You understand things. So he went from a 710 OPS in 2023 to a 810 OPS in 2024. If he's in the 9s this year, playing elite defense, swiping bags, I think he might win MVP 2 this year.
Okay.
He's not going to win MVP 1 unless Shohei gets hurt.
Right.
But there's and what's the number?
Man,
right now, I might need to sprinkle pop.
It's really interesting if everything takes another step, which it should. His second full season, 23, that, yeah, man, if 25 homers turns into 30, if 67 steals turns into, oh God, I mean, 80? We're talking 30, 80, and then, yeah, I mean, defensively, if he starts grading out just a little better over there because he has all the skill in the world, it could get interesting where Trout. I mean, Trout's Trout, and I hope he makes us regret this whole conversation. But it's kind of like his last full year is 2019 at this point, I believe.
I'm trying to look if there's odds out for MVP for 2025. I don't think I see any, or maybe
I guess 2022 Trout had a 6 WAR in 119 games, so that's pretty damn good if he can do that.
Aaron Judge plus 300, Bob Witt plus 450, Gunnar plus 750. And then I got to find the NL. What? I don't know. Can't find it. But when I do, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on Elly.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Ooh.
I forgot that Juan Soto's also. He's not going to win the MVP, but he's going to be. Can you bet like second
But
place?
could he? That's always, you start betting those plus 2,000. Trev, that was fun.
Wow, we just flipped.
I hope Trout makes us eat our words. God, I hope this whole Trout story, and Angel fans, I think you're not fully on the same boat, but could you imagine, dude, if the passing tweet dropped and it's Mike Trout to the Phillies, like baseball would erupt, man. And
don't do that to me right now.
I know your testosterone level's already a little juice just with the new year. Come on, be healthy, Trout. Some of his walk strikeout stuff is interesting. Anyways, Trev, I'm gonna open up the board to you because there's obviously a lot of teams we didn't mention, and again, go check out this article if you're looking for every team or your team in particularly. But what were some that were speaking to you, big guy?
So we've talked about this a little bit. One of the predictions was about the Blue Jays, and it was not about Vladdy. It was about, and it wasn't about Will Wagner because they just love Sun.
Yeah,
what's up with that? It's Bichette.
Yeah,
and the prediction was Bichette bounces back to stardom. Now he led the AL on hits in 2021 and 2022. 2024 just wasn't good for him. He was hurt. Just never got things started. It didn't look healthy. It didn't look like he was having fun. It didn't look like any of those things. So, if you look back at the track record, this is really like the first year that he's done that. And we had him in the conversation of, I don't know about elite AL shortstops because the defense is kind of squirrely there, but one of the better offensive AL shortstops for sure. And you can envision, I was thinking, man, you really can improve your defense. That never really happened for him. I think he bounces back offensively in 2025 because for a couple different reasons. Hey, man, come in, have a healthy offseason, have a healthy spring training, and, that obviously helps. But I think the biggest thing here, Jake, it's his walk year, man. Like, even a return to 70, 80% of like your past numbers will get you paid. If you have another year, injury plagued, the peripherals aren't good, then people start to say, wow, is he like declining already? This is a young kid who should not be declining. So I think the focus will be there. And I think that might be an issue where I've said this about guys before, and I don't know this for a fact. I've been around him a little bit. There are times where you just get so comfortable, man. Like he's been in that organization. He's just been in that city. He's played for the same team, a couple different managers, sure, but like he's very, very comfortable with what he's doing. And sometimes when you get comfortable, you lack a little bit of motivation. Doesn't matter if like, oh, it's the big leagues. Dude, it becomes a little monotonous for you. The motivation for Bichette this year is very clear. I want to enter free agency going in on a high note. I think the focus will be there. Hopefully the health will be there, and we should see him return to more of that 2022, 2023, 2021 type form. So I like this prediction. I don't know about well, I guess he was a star. I guess he was a star, like good looking guy, like,
Right.
has the legacy name. But him to have a bounce back year, like comeback player of the year, I don't think
Oh.
that's out of the realm for Bichette.
Shortstop, two-time All-Star. He's gotten MVP votes in 3 straight years until last year. I like it, Trev. I think you're right. Whether it's comfortable, and I feel like sometimes that can come off as a rude word, but it's I don't know. I think we all get comfortable in our surroundings. That I don't know. You're right. Going into a contract year, it can go one of two ways, man. It can be the pressure. Like it can be the if I have a good year this year, I'm going to have $100 million in my bank account. Maybe like $200 million, man. He's young. Like
Yeah.
if he puts together a season, Bichette will get paid. If he doesn't, then you're on the, am I doing 1 year rehab year? Or am I getting moved to second base? Am I,
2
all
years
that
with
stuff
with
comes
a
up,
player option.
right? That I believe in Bichette. I think he's one of the most talented hitters in the game. And Trev, this is going to be lame.com, but maybe you'll like this. They pan around at one of the last UFC fights. Bichette haircut. So he's coming off. It doesn't matter, people. I don't actually care. He's coming off his worst. What I care about, he's coming off his worst season as a big leaguer. He's coming into a contract year. Like, you don't think Bichette's on that grind right now? Like, he absolutely is, and I think the hair's symbolic of that, right? Like, it doesn't matter. Bichette could play. If he's got a mohawk and he's hitting 330, none of us care. But I think, hey, the difference from age 27 from age 23, that's a gap. Like, I bet he's taking life a lot more seriously right now. Not that he wasn't before, but it's different when you have these kind of stakes on them.
Dude, it's everyone's experienced this. You get somewhere where, oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah.
You get to a point where you get a little kick in the butt, someone lights a little fire, or you get beat down, like the motivation comes back. I'm all in on Bichette this year.
I'll be interested to see if his name comes up as part of this offseason. We wondered, but
they got some big decisions up there in Toronto, man. They go look at that lineup right now on Fangraphs.
Be an anxious year.
It's a weird freaking lineup, dude.
Go get Santander. Go Bo, Santander, Vladdy. That can do enough.
Yeah.
They're pitching tapped
look,
in.
you can play defense. You can stick Santander somewhere.
Trev,
we know you can play defense.
That might have been my favorite one from you this year. Was the like, you can have an outfielder who doesn't play great defense. Like a lot of teams have had that through the years. It's going to be okay.
Littered through baseball through the years. Just some bad outfielders out there. Delman Young comes to mind for me.
Your guy.
Love me some Delman. I haven't seen Delman in a long time.
Anything else you need to hit quick? I mean, we were laughing before. Lucas Giolito and Christian Yelich, 2 of your friends, listed as comeback player of the year. There's some rookie of the year stuff that I don't know. We would just be like, yeah, Jackson Jobe looks good, man.
I don't think we hit any AL Central, so that's tough on this show. We love the AL Central.
Good.
That's gonna be a mess.
I'm good.
I don't have anything else unless you have one that you're dying to talk about, Pop.
No, I guess a team that I just keep coming back to this offseason that I wonder if we're going to be talking about a lot or very little. The San Diego Padres, like, what is going on, man? Like, they were like baseball's darling for a little bit, and now there's just so many questions instead of answers. That, yeah, I want to see what happens there. I don't know how that story ends.
Don't trade Dylan Cease. They'll be in the playoffs, and they're a terrifying team. Nobody wants to face them. I fully agree. What else is there to say? Like, I get, like, people want them to continue to make moves, but like the roster's pretty damn good already.
There's still high-end talent. There are more holes. The pitching depth, the lineup depth. So like even, I think they'd be breathing a lot easier if they signed Profar and a depth pitcher. But I don't know they're gonna do that at this point.
I don't mean this in a slight, but to expect Profar to repeat what he did last year, I think is.
I get it.
Not realistic.
I get it. You'd be nice to have that to hope on. God, maybe that's a nice message to get everyone through the week. Coach, we'll be talking to you Wednesday. Thank God. I missed you so damn much. Let us know your team's one prediction.
Don't trade Dylan Cease, Padres. Why?
Right?
Why would you trade him? Don't do that.
It's good.
He already fleeced the Yankees.
Hey. Oh.
By the way, the passing saying Luis Ariz to the Yankees is like pretty close.
He said that?